How you doing? Welcome back to another episode of Controversial Discussions with Prophet Poe. I am Prophet Poe, and today we'll be discussing the controversial topic of blackface, what it is, its origins and purpose, as well as my perspective or how I feel as a black man and my thoughts on the subject. All right. Now, before we get started, if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button if you like it. Give me some feedback, comment. Just trying to educate the best I can. So, blackface. What is blackface? Well, in order to understand what's wrong with blackface, you have to understand its origins or where it come from. And if you know me, if you listen to any of my videos before, you understand that I like to do research. I like to understand of course, the origin of things, and so therefore I do research in order to find that. And to really truly understand what something is and understand it better, you have to know where it comes from. So, my research on blackface, you can do it simple. Just Google, right? That's what I always say. Finding the origin of it, what it is, we find out that it was started, or who they say the father of what's called minstrel or minstrelsy for him, is a guy named Thomas Wright. Started back in the 1830s. Basically, how the story goes, he saw a slave boy named Jim Crow, which that kind of gives you an idea of where the name Jim Crow comes from. Saw the little slave boy, he was singing and dancing while he was working, right? And so he decided that he was going to mimic it. So back in the 1830s, started by him, what white performers would do is they would put on black, what they call burnt cork, or they would put on shoe polish. And there's one other thing they would put on. I can't remember exactly what it is right now, but I'll put it right there. And they would leave just around the lips open so they can, like they had big lips, so they can look like a black person. Well, this Thomas Wright guy, who used Jim Crow, he went and performed as a little boy, and it was a hit. From there, it started to grow. We started to see other performers take heed and start doing the same thing. I guess you're wondering why would they put on blackface? Well, if you understand, 1830s was before the end of slavery, so therefore black people were not allowed to be in films or on stage and being able to perform. And so therefore, in order to be more like a black person and to mimic us, they would put on this black makeup or this black mask, little lips open, and basically try to mimic us. Okay? Now, here's where the etchiness gets into it, or where I have started to have a problem with. Because what they were doing was, when they started to mimic us, they would oftentimes mimic us as being lazy or superstitious, hypersexual. They will label us as being thieves or rapists, or just being late or ignorant, dumb. They would speak with like crazy, poor grammar, wear raggedy clothes that are too big, didn't fit. Basically, they were just making fun of us. They would get on stage, make fun of us, make people laugh at the stereotype that they were making us. Now, me as a black man, the way I see it, and the way where I have an issue is that I don't consider myself to be ignorant, a thief, a rapist, or any of those things. And what that represents is those kinds of thoughts of black people, right? It's a negative connotation. Now, we have people that make the argument, oh well, they had the movie White Chicks with the Wayans brothers. Their movie, that's like the opposite, right? They're painted with white, and these guys are painted with black. Well, one thing I didn't mention is that the reason they would wear this black makeup. Of course, again, I don't know if I said this or not. I had to look back. I don't remember. I'm gonna say it again if not. Was because white people did not want to see black people on stage, and so therefore they would wear the black makeup. And eventually, when black people were allowed to go on stage, they would also make black people put on the black mask or the black shoe polish as well, in order to make the audiences feel more comfortable. They'd often wear gloves, things like that, to cover their skin, even though white people did. But this is what they would do. And it was blatantly making fun of a man with dark skin. I so happen to be a man with dark skin. So you kind of wonder why I would be offended by somebody else wearing a black face. All right, I just want to add this in there for those who feel as though blackface is still okay. They see no problem with it. Blackface is just humor to them. Okay. But you guys, if I see you guys out, me personally, I may say something. I may say, hey, can you remove that? Or, hey, can you remove yourself? Because I find it as disrespectful. However, not everyone is as polite and as nice as I am. All right? Some of these new cats, some of these other cats aren't as, what's the word? I'm going to approach you with as much mannerism as maybe I would. So, if for some reason you're out enjoying yourself, having fun, laughing with your blackface on, and you receive some aggression from some black people, then understand now why. Don't act surprised, because you heard it from Prophet Poe. Again, as I say, thanks for listening. If you're going to believe in anything, believe in yourself. All right? I'm out.